Zugen Tsongkhapa los Tabesh Sovade Mi Me Zewe De Qian Qian Ren Xi Xi Me Ken Bei Wang Bo Xiang Bei Hang Jian Ke Bei Zu Gen Tsongkhapa los Za Bei Xia La So Wa De 引礼的都写上去。
This is the Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on a massive vulture mountain in Rajgir, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said, This to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, how should any child of lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said, This to the Venerable Sharadoti Putra, Shariputra and his son of the lineage, or daughter of the lineage, who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding even those five aggregates as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form, and form too is no other than emptiness. At the same time, feelings, perceptions, compositional factors and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. Unproduced, unceased, endless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no vision form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on up to no, and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including the aging and death, no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwelled in the three times also manifestly completely awakened to unsurpassable perfect complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared that Yatha Gate Gate Paragat Parasangate Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, the Mahasattvas should train in the profound perfection and wisdom like that. Then the Buddha rose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva, the Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is just like that. One should practice the profound perfection and wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadodiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. This last verse that Chinese audience is reciting says, may all our mental afflictions be overcome. May we be ablaze with our wisdom, be ablaze. And may all obstacles go away. And may we engage in the Bodhisattva deeds. So next we are making a mandala offering. It is ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagined it as a Buddha filled and offer it to you. May all beings enjoy this pure land. I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Supreme Assembly, until I am enlightened, may the merit and wisdom I accumulate through listening to the teaching, through this may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So this is repeated 3 times. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the collections of merit and wisdom created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the collections of merit and wisdom created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. So this Gaden Tri Rinpoche is now reciting the text, calling on all beings, including the world beings from the world of gods, Asuras or demigods, and so forth, to come forth to listen to this nectar of the teaching of the Buddha. And then he says, I will give this teaching in the languages of different beings like gods, demigods. And then the verse of salutation from Lama Kakarika by Nagarjuna. Master Shantideva says that so having found this kind of perfect human rebirth, which is very beneficial, but with this kind of life, which is qualified by endowments and freedom, it's very difficult to find, as I have explained it yesterday, from the point of view of the nature of the life and the causes that creates it and so forth. It is very difficult to find. And so having found this kind of precious human life now, you should learn what are to be practiced to make the most out of this kind of life, so that you create causes for higher rebirth and so forth. But by creating negative, unvirtuous actions, and because of having created all these negative actions, you are creating the causes for lower rebirths, where there's all kinds of suffering. So when you try to create the causes for a good rebirth, you should. So when you have found this kind of human life, a precious human life, if you are not able to create the positive causes and avoid the negative karmas, then it is not worth that you have found this. You're not making yourself worthy of finding such a human life, because of creating all these negative actions that would lead you to lower realms of existence.
我们就有一个辨别是非的能力。换句话说，有了这一个暇满的工具，我们要行什么样的善法，只要我们努力、坚持、精进的话，我们都可以承办。明明有这么好的条件，可是我们却贪着今世的一个享受或者是圆满，而去随着烦恼造作了不可计数的这个恶业，让自己要去承受不可计数的痛苦，岂不是荒废了这么难得的一个暇满人生吗？如果我们有这么好的修法的工具，让它却变成了三毒烦恼的一个工具的话，那我们还有没有心呢？让自己有这么好的条件，可是呢，却让自己堕落到地狱了。此时我们还有心吗？
我呀，那个课呢，继续讲啊，继续写上世俗传了，你刚让他说原没的。
So, continuing from the Master Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charyavatara, so what causes harm to one is those of the negative emotions, such as attachment, anger, and craving, and so forth. They do not have any limbs as such, but we are enslaved by these destructive emotions, so that our body, speech, and mind are overpowered by these destructive emotions, as a result of which you are reborn. You will be reborn in the lower realms of existence. And therefore, there you would have to suffer a great deal of suffering.
比较起来，一般世间的仇敌有手有脚会伤害我们，可是贪嗔的烦恼伤害我们不需要仇敌，它是无形，可是它对我们的伤害是直接的伤害，它会让我们的身语意完全听从于他个人的命令、烦恼的命令，让我们去不自主的造下无比的罪业，让我们去承受不可计数的痛苦。
So therefore, think and feel determined that you will not let yourself be enslaved by these destructive emotions, but engage in the positive practices, creating virtue, and so that at the least you would create causes for yourself to be reborn in higher rebirths or higher realms of existence. So, by seeing that as long as you are born in this cycle of existence, there is suffering. You are bound to suffer, and therefore you should think of overcoming all these poisons that are within ourselves: attachment, anger, hatred, and ignorance. And having determined that you wish to become enlightened, and having developed that sense of wishing for enlightenment for yourself, then you should switch that to extend that same feeling for all other sentient beings, that you would wish them to be out of suffering. And therefore, at this time, when you should think that when I have found this precious human life, I will work to reach the enlightenment and for the benefit of all sentient beings. And so, with that motivation to reach Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings, you should determine to listen to this teaching. So the purpose of listening to this discourse on the teaching of the Buddha should be that you wish yourself out of suffering. Not only that, but you should wish also help to other sentient beings to be out of suffering. And therefore, in order to achieve this twofold goal for yourself and others, you should think of reaching Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
因为无明无知的缘故，却离了得苦，所以他们也有相同的痛苦。因此，我要利用这个暇满人生，在解脱之道上面也顺便帮他们一把。为了利益他们，我必须要成就无上菩提。要以这种强烈的一个为了利益众生，我要成就无上菩提这种强烈的这种发心，来去接受大乘的教法。希望诸位听闻者以此意乐，来去接受今天的说法。
So let's see.
唯愿我等眷属众世世
Blessing for the tea now.
尊恒常供养三宝尊，三宝加持其降礼。
So to the Supreme Teacher, the precious Buddha, to the Supreme Refuge, the precious Dharma, to the Supreme Guide, the precious Sangha, we offer this tea to the three triple objects of refuge. So while you take your tea,
边
I'll
讲解，你们边喝茶。
go on with the teaching.
我也得告诉人，咱们说来把它救
So
起。
in order to practice the path, there are the paths shared with the beings of small and intermediate scope and the path of the great beings of great scope. So we are at the beginning of the third point. So yesterday, we covered these verses 18, 19 and 20 and 21 now. Bodhichitta, the central pillar of the path of the Supreme Vehicle, is the foundation of all the great deeds of Bodhisattvas, a gold-making elixir of the two collections. It is the treasure trove of merit for collecting the vast accumulation of virtues. Knowing this, heroic Bodhisattvas cherish this precious mind as their supreme practice. So, with regard to the Bodhisattva practices, first they generate Bodhichitta, and then they train themselves in the practices of Bodhisattvas, which are the 6 perfections.
共中士道部分都已经讲完了。那昨天也念到这个上士道的这一句：大乘道名为发心，是菩萨行根本一。能转资粮如金枝，摄纳众善为辅藏。菩萨如是善了之，以菩提心为心要。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。这个是昨天已经念完的部分。
我呀，那甚至来了把这的啦。
So by training, I mean, with regard to the training on Bodhichitta, there are 2 different traditions. One is a 7-fold instruction, cause and effect instruction, and the other is equaling and exchanging self and others. These 2 traditions of cultivating Bodhichitta are there. So with regard to the first, this 7-fold cause and effect instruction, where you begin by meditating on all sentient beings, reflecting on all sentient beings as having been one's mother, and then reflecting on their kindness, repaying the kindness, and so forth. And in the Guru Puja, it covers these points. So you have the on top of the 3 points that were mentioned, then you have the practice of loving kindness or affection, holding sentient beings dear to your heart, and then on the basis of that you develop compassion, and that leads you to the great special resolve that you will take the responsibility of liberating, freeing all sentient beings from samsara, and it's and then bodhicitta comes about through that. So with regards to equaling, exchanging self and others, you train your mind in seeing yourself and other sentient beings equal to each other, and then you think of exchanging yourself with others. And so you see the disadvantages of self-cherishing attitude, extreme self-centeredness, and then the benefits or the advantages of holding others more dearer than yourself, and then developing this bodhicitta. So we covered the verses 21, 22. So in the Lama Chapa again it says that it talks about or reflecting on the great disadvantages of self-cherishing attitude and the great advantages of cherishing others over oneself. And then you develop or love and compassion for sentient beings. And these, with regard to these, in relation to these practices, you do that of the practice of giving and taking. With the compassion, you take on the suffering and the causes of suffering and negativities of the other sentient beings into yourself, and then with regard to within the practice of love, you give all your positivities to your mother sentient beings, and then through the help of these love and compassion, then you develop bodhicitta based on the equaling, exchanging self and others. And then with regards to now this practice of the 6 perfections, there are the 6 perfections are generosity, morality, and so forth. So first, we come across the perfection of generosity, training in it. Generosity, the wish-fulfilling gem which satisfies the hopes of beings, is the best weapon to cut the knot of miserliness, and is the bodhisattva deed that gives rise to unfailing determination. It is a basis of the spread of fame throughout the 10 directions. Realizing this, so the wise ones practice the noble path of giving everything, their body, possessions, and virtue. So the giving or generosity is this your desire to give to others, and it is the like the wish-fulfilling gem that satisfies the hopes of all beings, and the weapon to cut the knot of miserliness and so forth. So when you practice giving, you should also see the giving, the action of giving, the object that you give, the gift, and the person, giver, and the receiver. Everything, all of these lack any independent objective existence. So Madhyamaka Avatara says that when you do your practice of giving within this parameter of the perfection of giving, by understanding that what you give, the giver, and the act of giving, and the receiver, everything is empty of any inherent existence, then that giving or the generosity is said to be transcendental one. Whereas without this understanding, without imbuing your practice of giving with this the understanding of emptiness, then it is a mundane giving.
那一般的布施呢，是讲我们想要施舍或者是施的这一个施，心所的施，好，这个为布施。但是光是布施没有办法成为布施波罗蜜多，就是布施到彼岸。能够成佛的这个6度的布施，到达彼岸的这种布施，是必须要有无缘3轮的这种空性的智慧的摄持下，或者是结合下，才有办法去奉行布施波罗蜜多的。如果你是以真实执着的概念，认为一切东西都是客观存在、很自信、真实的存在，以这样一个自信执着的一个角度。无论是布施者而言、所施处而言，或者是所施物而言，这3轮都在自信有的情况下去布施的话，那个不叫做布施波罗蜜多。所以呢，经论上又说到了：施者、受者、施物空，施名出世波罗蜜。
我呀，金巴这个日光也行了，现在金巴给每天叫来现在。
So the opposite of giving is miserliness, which holds tight onto the object that should be given to others. And so, giving or generosity is the best weapon to cut the knot of miserliness. So it is the wish-fulfilling gem which satisfies hopes of all beings, and is the bodhisattva deed that gives rise to unfailing determination. The determination and the of the bodhisattvas increase. It is the basis of the spread of fame throughout the 10 directions.
因有这个施的这个思维布施，所以我们可以斩除坚结，就坚令的。
So these are the benefits of the giving.
而且也因为布施的关系，所以它可以无有退却，无有畏惧，会永汉的去精进修佛子行。所以无却永汉佛子行， 也是因为布施的关系，你会得到美名，所以扬名十方，此为本。
我呀，我就也别叫太大些年是，
So realizing this, these benefits of giving, like, such as giving the things like your bodies, the possessions, and so forth, the wise ones practice the noble path of giving everything. So the wise ones train themselves in the practice of giving. So just as they do, I, the yogi, practice this way, and you, seekers of liberation, should do likewise.
殊胜功德之后，如是知矣。于是呢，菩萨们会将自己的身体、自己的财富和自己的所有的善业福报，所以身财善布施给一切有情众生，无有保留。布施妙道智应学，所以具有智慧的人，他会如此的去奉行学习这种的妙道，布施的妙道。那我等的善知识、至尊的恩师，他们是这么的奉行修持，欲解脱者也应该如是的行为。所以至尊恩师如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
我呀，你那么去不告诉俺，绿党我。
And in the Lama Chöpa, so my body, resources, and so forth, virtues of the three times, I shall give them all to my mother sentient beings, without any sense of loss or attachment, and may I complete the perfection of generosity.
以无缘三轮的方式而来去进行布施，愿上师能够加持我，能够圆满布施波罗蜜多。
哦呀，那第节了，俺这他出去跑进来老吧。
And next is the practice of morality or ethical discipline. So the ethical discipline is the sense of restraining yourself. Restraining the negative actions of your body, speech, and mind. So ethical discipline is the water that washes away the stains of negativity, all defilements. And it is the moonlight that cools, that has the cool effect, cools the scorching heat of afflictions. Elegant like Mount Meru amongst beings. So Mount Meru, Sumeru is the king of the mountains, and likewise with your morality, you appear elegant amongst other beings. It is the power before which all beings bow, minds free from free. Realizing this, what you have pledged to keep, these ethical disciplines of restraining or refraining from negative actions and benefiting sentient beings and so forth. Realizing this, the noble ones protect the vows they have received as they would their very eyes.
Oh. 那接下来是讲持戒的部分。失落如水洗恶行，失落是梵文的这个直译，希腊的直译，所以叫失落，就是持戒的意思，就是戒体、持戒、戒律。失落如水洗恶行，它如同水一样，能够洗涤所有的恶行，以及所有的烦恼障、所知障。一如月光除热恼，又如同月光一样，能够除热恼。处众威严如须弥，于大众当中安住的时候，会非常的有威严，因为它的这个戒体和戒律所散发出来的光芒，如同须弥山不动的须弥山般，非常的稳定、坚定，不做恐怖众生敬，而且会让众生尊敬。如是智以正受戒，知道了这个 持戒的好处之后，所以诸菩萨们、智者们会去行一切善法，断一切恶业，以及利一切众生，会这三戒来去行持菩萨的学处诸戒。智者因护如眼目，那这个佛子智者会把戒视为自己的眼珠子一样的保护。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
说到强身，三话多没一，见证数个钱啊没作用性。各些对他身边天主。
So Lama Chöpa says, "May I complete the perfection of morality, the morality of pratimokshas, the vows that I've taken of pratimoksha, bodhisattva, and tantra." So these three. So you have the morality of pratimoksha and the vows of pratimoksha, bodhisattva, and tantra. So even at the cost of your life, you will not go against them or give them up. So may I be able to perfect this morality, complete the perfection of morality through this practice of the threefold morality or ethical discipline, which are refraining from negative actions, gathering virtuous practices, and serving sentient beings.
恶行的戒里面有分别解脱戒、菩萨戒，还有金刚戒、金刚乘的这个戒体。那这三戒呢，都会手持，而且会像自己的寿命般的会去守护。所以菩萨们，在行菩萨道的时候呢，会去断一切的恶业，以及行一切的善法，并且令一切的众生。那并且以空性的智慧去进行结合的缘故，让自己所持的戒变成般若蜜多，所以变成持戒般若蜜多。那愿上师你能加持于我，让我能够圆满持戒般若蜜多，并且能够尽除一切违背戒行或者是戒的学处的所有的障碍。如同上师慧公所说的这一句偈句，我们应该如是的奉行。
我想。
So that is about morality, training in the perfection of morality. And next comes the perfection of patience. Patience, the supreme ornament for the powerful, is an exemplary fortitude against the torment of afflictions, a Garuda to destroy the enemy of the snakes of hatred. It is an impenetrable shield against the weapon of harsh words. Realize, so this shows the perfection of patience. So reading the lines again, so you are able to withstand the torment of afflictions, and the opposite of patience is hatred. It is like the Garuda that destroys the enemy of the snake of hatred. It is the impenetrable shield against the weapons of harsh words. Realizing this, familiarize yourself in every way with the armor of supreme patience. And I, a practitioner, a yogi, have practiced this way, and you, the seekers of liberation, do likewise.
刻意的克制我们的愤怒，所以相好庄严，内心也庄严。除烦恼厌甚难行，也是因为克制的去让自己嗔心不要产生的缘故，这是难行的这个善行，但是却能够消灭、洗涤我们内心的烦恼的这一个炙热。如金翅鸟降嗔蛇，它如金翅鸟般的能够降服我们内心的这一个嗔火。那别人对我们出言恶语的时候，我们因为忍辱，我们不会受到伤害，所以是遮诸语刀为甲胄，是它最好的这种让自己不受伤害的甲胄。如是知矣，圣人慨种种方便因还披，至尊恩师如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
So just as it is said here, You should overcome this enemy of hatred or anger. So Bodhisattva Charyavatara says, if you befriend these mental afflictions, the more you rely on them or befriend them, you will have, as a result of it, only suffering. So you are bound by suffering if you rely on this hatred or the negative emotions, the afflictive mental afflictions.
可是烦恼绝对不是哦。如果你善待烦恼的话，完蛋了，它最终会把你掉到地狱。这个就是烦恼的作用。所以菩萨们会去如此的思维嗔心的坏处，于是呢去克制，去修人。
我做完那些前呢，대다有人居家这就把那边错了批评就就不，那个人呢，我呢在那考进没。
So Bodhisattva Charyavatara goes on to say that these mental afflictions, the negative destructive emotions, if I do not apply the counterforce to them, but let myself be carried away by these destructive emotions, then I will continuously have suffering, and I will never have the chance to obtain happiness, a happy state of mind, and happy state of life.
所以唯一的方式就是对治烦恼，这是唯一的方式，没有例外。
我得说人家。
So. So you should counter these mental afflictions or destructive emotions and overcome them. So this is the practice. So reading the verses 27 and 28 again. Patience, the supreme ornament for the powerful, is the exemplary fortitude against the torment of afflictions that grow to destroy the enemy, the snake of hatred. It is an impenetrable shield against the weapon of harsh words. Realizing this, familiarize yourself in every way with the armor of supreme patience. I, a practitioner, have done this way, and you, the seekers of liberation, do likewise.
一切威仪不唐捐，随所做事悉承办，如是是以浅懈怠，应发菩萨大精进。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
那我真是我们这些，那第一个呢，俺这真的就发现了老板。
And then comes the next comes the practice of perfection of effort or diligence. So your mind should never waver turn away from practicing virtue. So this Lama Chepa, the Guru Puja, in Guru Puja says, even if I have to remain in the hell realm for eons and eons, even for a single sentient being, to liberate them, a single sentient being, may I never feel dejected or to practice, to work for the sentient beings. So by practicing perseverance, your positive qualities will increase day by day. As time passes, they will increase more and more.
我们都要乃至虚空危机之前，我都要安住在这世间，要发起如此强大的精进力，这种的勇悍或者是欢喜心，为他们而行精进。所以，如果我们 怀披了这个精进，而且不会退失的铠甲。
So the Lama Chapa text says, even if I have to remain in the hell of Avicii, the relentless hell, for even a sentient being, a single sentient being, for eons, may I work for sentient beings and perfect this perseverance. So without letting your mind, body, and speech be overpowered or swayed by the mental afflictions, you should engage in virtuous practices with your body, speech, and mind. So whatever you do in terms of these virtuous, wholesome practices, you should put effort. And so this perfection, the quality, these are the qualities of this joyous effort or perseverance, which will lead you to fulfill your goal. However long it may take to fulfill your goals, if you keep putting effort, you'll achieve your goal. And so the opposite of the effort is laziness. So laziness should be overcome through the practice of joyous effort.
我们可以成就无上菩提。如是之疑，浅懈怠，因为精进的正对立就是懈怠，所以菩萨们知道精进的殊胜功德之后，会去尽力的对治或者遣除精进的正对立懈怠。
我呀，아니
So in order to perfect this joyous effort, you should overcome laziness. There are three types of laziness or indolence. So you despising yourself and being preoccupied with the inferior types of works. So by becoming attached to the trivial things of such as the pleasures of this life and so forth, and you become attached to them and you lose the time to practice virtue and the Dharma. And then despising yourself means that you feel discouraged, that you will, such that you feel you will not be able to do these practices, such as withstanding the suffering that you would undergo by working for sentient beings. And then, so you feel yourself discouraged. And then giving up after having put some effort. So to work against these three types of laziness, then you have to train yourself in the joyous effort. So it says, by donning the armor of unrelenting, stable perseverance, qualities of learning and realization increase like the waxing moon. All actions become meaningful. All work embarked upon reaches fruition as intended.
因为它会阻碍你精进于善法，所以贪着一般的这一种凡夫的一个享受也好，圆满也好，这个呢也算是懈怠之一哦。那还有一个呢，就是觉得自己什么都做不起，没办法做到，自己没有能力。来去轻蔑自己，这个呢也是懈怠之一，因为这一种的沮丧也好，丧失心力也好，它没有办法让我们精进于善法，所以如是之疑，浅懈怠，菩萨们应发菩萨大精进，至尊恩师如是修，故欲解脱者如是行。
我呀，아니
Even if I have to remain in the Avicii hell for even as single sentient beings for over an eons and suffer all kinds of incredible suffering without feeling discouraged, but with compassion, with the help of compassion, and engage in the practices leading to Buddhahood, the supreme enlightenment. So you should make this determination to perfect your practice of patience. Perseverance or joyous efforts in order to reach Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
承受地狱的痛苦，我也愿意。所以菩萨们会发起如此的心力，为了利益有情众生，菩萨会发起如此的心力，精进于善法。我愿上师等加持于我，能够产生如此的心力。
我呀，当然个没把过来，就历史来说带进的，台大县呢，是吧？太热，经济嘛，我等着就台大县呢，那边经济加上上去。
So realizing this, the Bodhisattvas dispel indolence and engage with intense perseverance. A yogi have practiced this way, and use liberation seekers should do likewise. And next comes meditative concentration. And then there is also the teaching on special insight or vipassana, and then combining these two, bringing them into union. So first you try to develop single-pointed concentration. So with the help of this single-pointed concentration, then you in order to develop this meditative concentration, single-pointed concentration, you should go through the steps leading to it, which are called the preparatory practices of meditative concentration. Then you will reach or attain single-pointed concentration. So meditative concentration is the sovereign that rules the mind. So even if you may be able to focus your mind on the object, having developed this concentration, when stabilized, it stands unwavering, like the king of mountains. And when directed, it engages in all virtuous objects, giving rise to the great bliss that makes the body and mind pliant. So by inducing this great bliss that gives rise to the mental and physical pliancy, then the practitioner, realizing this, always resort to meditative concentration. Great yogis dispel the enemy of mental wandering. So mental wandering is the opposite or the enemy of the single-pointed meditative concentration. I, a yogi, have practiced in this way. You, liberation seekers, should do likewise.
静虑修禅呢，它可以让我们的心、让我们的思想会按照自己的计划般的，能够去圆善所愿，所以变成某种程度上可以掌控我们的心，叫转心，心随禅定所转，所以心静虑转心，如轮王，如同转轮圣王拥有控制生杀大权般的，所以同样的具有禅定的修行者，他可以掌控自己的思维。 静虑转性如轮王，安住无动如山岳。而且一旦我们的心安住在某个境上，因为我们具有这个静虑，静虑有分奢摩他、毗婆舍那、奢摩他、毗婆舍那的双运等等。那奢摩他的意思就是说，透过这个住心、久住心，那慢慢的让自己获得身心清安。身心清安之后的这一个禅心静虑，这个就是奢摩他。那这个也是初禅的境分。那当我们获得这一个奢摩他的时候，我们安住在哪一个境上，心安住在哪一个点上，它都不会有任何的动摇，它就会专注在这里。然后如山岳，起定遍圆一切善，而且我们对所有的善所缘，对这一个善所缘起定的话，也就是将我们的专注力安定在这一个善所缘的时候，就起定的时候，那它可以随心所欲的安置，很坦然的、容易的安置在所有的善所缘，所以起定遍圆一切善，并且能以身心的清安，所以能以身心清安乐。如是知以于切王，因此修禅者于切师们会以正念和正知双者的结合下，摧伏散乱，常修定，会去摧伏这一个调举跟沉默，去长时间的、很长的去修学这一个定，禅定。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
他们没办法把这几段那也没办法没办法把下。
So first, in the process of developing meditative concentration, you should try to maintain or place your mind on the focus. Of course, it will not stay there for long, but you need to persevere and continue focusing, bringing it back to the focus. And so because of our distraction in our day-to-day life, you try to bring the mind back to your focus again and again, and then closely place it on the object, and then you develop the other factors. So we are going through this 9 steps to develop this mental quiescence or shamatha. So having overcome all the distraction and other obstructing factors for developing this mental quiescence, then when you are able to focus your mind on the object that you have chosen without any distraction or the mental sinking and so forth, but able to focus the mind single-pointedly on it, then you have attained this single-pointed concentration or quiescence, mental quiescence, or calm abiding.
那最后获得了身心清安，还能够产生如此的强大这个定力的时候，这个的时候的定叫做奢摩他了。
So with this single-pointed concentration, single-pointedly concentrating your mind on the object, you attain the mental and physical pliancy. That is when you when you have a very special experience of pliancy within yourself, then that is the measure of having developed this mental quiescence or calm abiding, shamatha.
去思维善法没有障碍，这个叫身心的堪能性。那具有这种身心清安、身心的堪能性的定，称为奢摩他。
So with the help of that mental quiescence or calm abiding, you are able to focus your mind on the object single-pointedly, and then you will be also able to, while maintaining your focus, single-pointedness, you are able to do analytical meditation on the practices of the profound and the object. And then having developed through that analysis and investigation, when you are able to develop the shamatha or vipassana. And then then you are able to, through that you are able to combine both shamatha and vipassana. There's a union of these two, and then you will be able to engage in the practices or the paths that are mundane, and the mundane path leads you to the supramundane or transcendental path as well.
透过观察力再次的产生身心清安的时候，那时候就升起了毗婆舍那，那是透过观察力所发起的。那这个奢摩他跟毗婆舍那的结合，它的所缘境可以是世间道、世间的善所缘，所以当它缘世间的这个善所缘的时候，就变世间道、世间的毗婆舍那、世间的止观双运。那菩萨们会以这个工具来去缘广大行跟身见行的出世间道，所以变成出世间的毗婆舍那跟奢摩他。
我也说了个人二百元的，我也大家说了。So
wisdom is the eye to see the profound reality, which dispels the darkness of ignorance, the means to pull out samsara's root, the treasure of excellence, praised in all scriptures, the supreme lamp that dispels the darkness of ignorance. Realizing this, the wise, seeking freedom, strive to generate it. I, a yogi, have done this way, and you, liberation seekers, should do likewise. So, verse number 33 and 34, as I have explained, so even if you may have developed or attained shamatha, if you are not able to combine it, develop a path where this shamatha is combined with vipassana, then you will not be able to overcome the mental afflictions, kleshas, these destructive emotions. So mere single-pointed concentration, you will not have the power to uproot the fundamental cause of samsara, this cycle of existence, which is the grasping at some independent self. So, but without single-pointed concentration, but if you have powerful wisdom or intellect, however much you may do analysis on things, you will not be able to cut this root of the mental afflictions. So Bodhisattva Charyavatara says, however much you may analyze, without this single-pointed concentration, you'll not be able to uproot the samsara. So to uproot samsara, you have to overcome the grasping at the independent self. So you need to identify the root of samsara, to cut the root of samsara. And so for that, you need to make sure that you understand the true nature of things, the reality as it is, that is emptiness. So the power to cut samsara's root lies not in single-pointed concentration alone. Verse number 35 down. However deeply analyzed, wisdom devoid of the path of calm abiding reverses not the delusions. Wisdom that precisely discerns reality, so should ride the horse of unwavering calm abiding and use the sharp weapon of madhyamaka, the middle way reasoning, devoid of extremes, to completely destroy all references of grasping at extremes. So, which is referring to the root of samsara. With this expansive insight that unerringly analyzes, the wisdom realizing reality will flourish. So, this is talking about, the verse 35, 36 is talking about the combination of, or the union of calm abiding and vipassana. So I, a yogi, have practiced in this way. You, the liberation seekers, should do likewise.
超一切尽功德障，能除痴暗第一灯。如是智以诸智者，应当勤修此妙道。至尊是如是修，故欲解脱者如是行。所以以了解空性的智慧来去断除生死的根本，而去追求脱离生死之道。若未修习专注定，终不能断生死本。因为生死的根本是来自无明，所以如果你只是修禅，没有修慧，尤其是空正见的话，终不能断生死本。生死的根本是没有办法断除的，所以只修禅不修慧是不行的。若理即止，但修观，亦不能除诸烦恼。如果你只有慧，却没有禅定的这一个功夫、禅定的基础的话，那你也是没有办法断除无始以来根深蒂固的这个烦恼的。所以若理即止，但修观，亦不能除诸烦恼。因此，故须通达真实慧，好像少了一个故字哈。故须通达真实慧，诚以无动即止嘛。所以我们应该以通达真相，在此的真实是指真相的意思了，而不是真实有、自信有的，不是这个意思，而是真相的意思。就是说，应该要去通达究竟的真相为何，以此智慧，再加上即止嘛禅定的这一个辅助，诚以无动即止嘛，并且手持着离边见的中观利剑来去破除一切边执所布置的阵，所以直持离边中观剑，破除一切边执阵，像是法我执、人我执，或者是轮回根本的无明的这个沙沙耶见等诸如此类的这个执着，是依此而破除的。因此，如理观察广大慧，通达真实令增长，就真相，我们要增长通达真相的智慧。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
我呀，应当他弄把你带我带了，开始去参与的。
So it is the most important thing for us to develop this wisdom, realizing emptiness. As Master Tsongkhapa says in the three principal aspects of the path, without the wisdom realizing the nature or the reality of things, even if you may have developed the true renunciation and the Bodhichitta, you will not be able to put an end to the cycle of existence. So because the root of cycle of existence is this grasping at an independent objective self. So without realizing this, the lack of independent existence in things and selves, you will not be able to overcome the samsara. And therefore, Master Tsongkhapa advises us to develop this wisdom realizing emptiness, or the understanding the reality of things, the interdependent nature of things.
缘起法就是以缘起的方式来去诠释真相，也来去诠释空性。所以不惧正悟实相慧，众秀出离菩提心，亦不能断三有根，故当勤正缘起法。
So in order to establish emptiness, the view, there are the different reasonings that are used. So reasonings such as that is known as the diamond splinter,
那在
and the
定
reasoning
空性的时候，有说到了无理了，
that
像是
refutes
离义的
one
真义
and many.
或者是破四边声音、破有无声音等，还有最主要的就是缘起的正理啊，有说到了无理的方式啊，来去抉择空性。
And so forth. So it is very important for us to train our mind, ourselves, in realizing emptiness. So repeating the verses 35 and 36. What need is there? Next, 37, 38. What need is there to mention that single-pointed meditation accomplished samadhi? Seeing that proper analysis grounded on discretion also gives rise to very subtle, stable samadhi, but that which unwaveringly focuses on reality. So unwaveringly means it is not disturbed by both the distraction and mental sinking. Amazing are those who strive to achieve this union of calm abiding and special insight. So in order to bring these combined calm abiding and special insight, you need first to develop the single-pointed concentration of shamatha, through which brought about by the great bliss of pliancy. So I, a yogi, have practiced this way, and you, liberation seekers, should do likewise.
定的这个修持，不应该靠此修持而已。我们应该要在这个同时，也要如理的来去正观察真相为何。
哦呀，那就是他等于他什么东西你带了怕呢？
So having ascertained the profound emptiness and developed the combined experience of calm abiding and special insight, praise be to you who meditate upon space like emptiness during the meditative equipoise. So this space before us is something which is absent of any obstruction. That quality of the absence of obstruction is used here. Space like emptiness means the mere absence. So though things do not have any inherent existence, yet they conventionally exist. And so, though they exist, on the other hand, though things exist, they do not have any objective independent existence. So because they are conventionally existent, they do not autonomously exist. So though things are without any independent existence, that doesn't mean that they do not exist. They do exist conventionally. So these two, the space like emptiness during the meditative equipoise and illusion like emptiness during post-meditation, through this union of method and wisdom, you reach the culmination of bodhisattva deeds. So by practicing bodhisattva paths, or you are able to reach the further shore that leads you, that is to say, you lead yourself to Buddhahood. So realizing this, not remaining complacent over incomplete paths, is the tradition of the fortunate ones. I, a yogi, have practiced this way. You liberation seekers do likewise.
意见能以正实义，无动坚固三摩地，故诸智者因勤修，止观双运最稀有。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。那接下来是说到了在以止观双运的方式修学空性的时候，又可以分入定时候的状态跟出定时候的状态。那入定时候的这个修学空性的部分呢，如同虚空，所以在此说到在定修空如太虚，就是虚空的意思。虚空的意思是什么呢？无为虚空的意思就是说为遮触分，触我们会有一个接触嘛，这个触分为遮触分为虚空的定义。所以空性呢是遮前法里面非遮有无遮两者里面的无遮法，就是为遮而已，为遮自性，这个呢叫做空性。所以在入定证悟空性的当下，如同虚空般，因为它是只看到为遮自性有而已。后得观空同幻事，但是在初定的时候，他见诸法呢，他知道诸法的究竟真相，并非是以自己的力量而形成它的作用，无自性的。但是我们看什么东西，仿佛都是以他自己的力量而形成，从他那边而存在。所以呢，他会知道说表象跟真相的不同，因此所见一切皆是幻化。所以这时候呢，我们就可以搭配着宗大师的这一个记句文，叫做如同以有相除有边和无相除无边的这一个三主要的结局，如同三主要道说：了知以现除有边，以空遣除无有边。这是什么意思呢？就是因为我们看到的有关系，所以我们可以在名言当中安立它的一个存在。但是这种的安立又不是以尽的自力而有的，尽自己的力量而形成的。所以透过有相来去除有边，自性有的边，你以及无相，因为它不是以自己的力量而有的，以无相来去除无边，所以它不是没有的。不是以自己的力量而有，所以更要依赖他者而存在。所以在名言当中能够坦然安立而有，所以有无相有除无边。如是的称赞双运会方便，能往菩萨行彼岸。如是之以诸智者不以少分道自满。至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。所以菩萨们会去完整的学习所有的这些成佛之道，不会以了知个别的道而感到自满。
我呀，现在都都见表那种的，你莫那么专门写出来。
With the perfect shamatha, coupled with shamatha, your vipassana will destroy the root of samsara. Therefore, the afflictive emotions so first develop shamatha, single-pointed concentration, and then develop vipassana, and combine them with the union of these two. Then you will be able to train. You should train yourself on the path to cut the root of samsara.
所以这些菩萨们、瑜伽师们，他们呢，为了能够断除生死的根本，首先会去寻求奢摩他，让自己获证奢摩他，以这种止观双运的方式，让自己的烦恼逐渐的减少，最终断除生死的根本。
哦呀，那今天你们说哪个代表多年当是？你们说跟那个都去咱们这上先就出把干。
So verse 39, 40 again. So the space like emptiness during meditative equipoise. So here emptiness is likened to space, which is without absence of any obstruction. So emptiness is the mere absence of any true independent existence. And then illusion like emptiness is things exist, but they do not have any objective independent existence. Though they lack any independent objective existence, that does not mean that they do not exist, but they exist by way of convention. And therefore, though things exist, they do not exist independently. While lacking any independent existence, they still have their existence, and therefore they are like illusion. And so, illusion like emptiness during the post-meditation. Through this union of the method and wisdom, you reach the culmination of the bodhisattva deeds. So, the profound path, stages of the path, and the series, the extensive conduct. So, by combining these two, you should overcome attachment, anger, and so forth, all these mental afflictions, and also the stains left by them. There are the cognitive obscurations, obscuration of knowledge. Realizing this, not maintaining complacent over, remaining complacent over incomplete paths, in the tradition of the fortunate ones, is the tradition of the Yogi practice this way, use liberation seeker do likewise. Having properly, verse number 41, having properly generated the path required by both excellent and
如同刚刚所说的，因为空性本身是围遮自性有而已，所以它像无为虚空的定义一样，就是围遮触分而已。所以在入定的时候
So, verse number 39 and 40 done, sorry.
除此外不会看到其他，所以在定修空如太虚。那后得观空同欢时，但是菩萨们还是要出定去行广大的这一个广大行，还是要去累积福报资粮。可是菩萨们在行广大行、累积福报资粮的时候，所见一切皆是如同幻化，因为他在入定的时候已经看到了诸法的究竟真相，并不是自性有的。诸法没有任何一法是以自己的力量形成自己的体性及其作用的。可是他看出定的时候，或者是起定的时候，他看所有的一切，都觉得仿佛是以他自己的力量而存在的。所以他在行这个福报资粮的时候，或者累积资粮的时候，他所看一切都是幻化。所以菩萨是以这种的方式而去累积福智双修的。所以这个福智双慧的这种修持备受称赞，称赞双运会方便。那因为也是菩萨这么去了知真相，所以我们可以确定了一点：有绝对不是自性有，自性无也不是没有的意思。所以有跟自性有绝对要做区分了。能往菩萨行彼岸，如是知矣诸智者。所以在此的菩萨们会广大的去学习所有的成佛之道，不以少分道自满。所以他不会因为了知某个道而就停滞在那里，就觉得我已经够了。所以不以少分道自满，至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
我呀，大家，安尼达，这段这边提前几些，就怕
So, having properly, verse number 41, generated a path required by both excellent causal and resultant Mahayana vehicles. So the Mahayana path, which leads to the state of all-knowing, omniscient Buddhahood. And so what are the paths leading to that? Are the causal and the resultant path. The causal path includes those paths that are common to both the beings of small scope or and the intermediate scope, and then those of the path of the great beings within the sutra vehicle. So, by relying upon the guidance of wise adepts and enter the great ocean of Mantrayana, in order to reach the unsurpassable, perfect, consummate Buddhahood, the enlightenment, you need to overcome the subtle defilements. So for that, you need the experience or the path of bliss and emptiness. So rely upon the guidance of a wise adept and enter the great ocean of Mantrayana So you should meet with a fully qualified Vajra master from whom you should receive the 4 empowerments, and then keep the commitments and the vows. So embracing the pith instructions in their entirety, giving meaning to this birth of pleasure that you have obtained. I, a yogi, have practiced this way. You liberation seekers should do likewise.
果指的是密咒金刚乘，所以如是透过大乘里面的显教跟密咒金刚乘密教，圣道所需共行道。那这一个2个道所共同需要的呢，像是之前所说的暇满意大的这一个共下士道，跟四谛等的这个共中士道，这是属于共行道。如实生矣，如果我们已经产生了这个共下士道、共中士道以及上士道显教的部分的话，应该依导师，依止这个上师来去驱入，来去进入密咒金刚乘的广大海，所以续布广大海。为什么呢？因为以密咒金刚乘的角度而言，为了要断除最细微的所知障，它必须要一个乐空无二的智慧。没有这一个空乐无二的智慧，是不可能断除最细微的所知障。所以你已经圆满这些条件之后呢，就要依止上师在上师的密咒金刚乘的上师的引导之下，而进入续布的广大海。在这里续布指的就密咒金刚乘驱入续布广大海。修习圆满圣教授得此暇身不唐捐。如果我们可以这么圆满的修行显密的一个圆满的教法的话，那我们获得这一个暇满人生的工具将不会枉费，将会很有意义。所以不唐捐，至尊是如是修，欲解脱者如是行。
我呀，让个一路恐怕拆起的，盖上线，
Verse 43 is dedication, conclusion. In order to acquaint my mind with the path and also to benefit other fortunate beings, I have herein explained in simple terms the complete path that pleases the Buddhas. I pray that by the power of this virtue, all sentient beings are never separated from the sublime and noble path. So this the sublime and noble path refers to the profound and the extensive path leading to enlightenment. So I, a yogi, have prayed this way. In this manner, you liberation seekers should do likewise. So next is the colophon, which says this path, stages of the path to enlightenment, was written by me, Tsongkhapa.
要如何进入密咒金刚乘呢？先接受灌顶，之后再如实的去遵守三密业，以此方式进入密咒金刚乘的。那最后呢是回向的部分了。正为自心修习故，兼为利益于善事。那也是为自心修习以及利益有缘者的这些善事。所以我撰写了这一个诸佛所爱圆满道。那我撰写的方式以浅易宣说所获福。那愿此这个撰写的功德呢，唯愿一切诸有情永不离此清净道。至尊是如是愿，发誓愿，欲解脱者如是发。此后拔菩提道次第修行安立总摄，是由多闻比丘断舍者善会名称吉祥，于旷野山感登尊圣灵造。
我呀，那点这个。So
with this, we have completed the text, the concise Lamrim, the Song of Experience. And then we have other treatises on the stages of the path, which are by Tsongkhapa, the great treatise on the stages of the path, and then with the leaving out all the extra elaborate explanations and discussions and so forth, summarizing or the briefer, shorter lamrim is that of the intermediate, the middle length lamrim, and then the meaning or the content of all both of these two are further summarized in verse form in this Song of Experience by the Master Tsongkhapa.
那这个要稍微略一点，以寄居的方式所呈现的呢，就是摄诵。然后这个部分已经结束了。
哦呀，那今年的老庄们团队没事。
So we have done the teaching on this concise lamrim. So then next is the 7-point mind training. I prostrate to the great compassionate. The first presentation of the preliminary, the basis, first train in the preliminaries. So training. So this the training in the awakening mind.
那接下来我们翻修心七义的部分。那首先我们看为显法缘清净的缘故，所以在此说到甘露藏口诀从荆州传来。那为使法缘清净，所以在此的这一个修心七义的内容呢，它最终这一个传承如是的追溯上去的话，是会到导师释迦牟尼佛。导师释迦牟尼佛传到了龙树无着。 那之后呢，传到了金州大师，金州大师再传到阿底峡尊者。
So homage to the great compassion one presenting, and then it begins by saying presenting the greatness of the author in order to demonstrate the authenticity of the source of the teaching. This essence of the nectar of practical pith instruction has been transmitted by the master from the Golden Isle, and then next presenting the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. You should understand the significance of this instruction. Pith instruction as like a diamond, the sun, and a medicinal plant. This time of the 5 generations will then be transformed into the path to fully awakened state. And then the actual instruction for guiding disciples is given in 7 points. First is explaining the preliminaries as a basis for the practice. So what is the basis, the preliminary? It contains those teachings, includes the teachings about the difficulty and the significance of finding this human life. And so, in other words, the paths of the paths that are common to the beings of small scope, the intermediate scope, and then includes the path of the great beings, the beings of great scope, such as the Bodhisattva, the practice of Bodhichitta based on the 7-point instruction and including in exchanging self and others, and how to train. In this one, there are 2. The training in the ultimate spirit of awakening and the training, how to train in the conventional spirit of awakening.
初学诸加行，那在此的加行包含了像是之前所说的共下士道的暇满依大等的这个思维，以及共中士道时候所说的四谛的这个思维，以及上士道时候所说的七因果或自他相换的这个思维，这是属于加行的部分。第一义，修行7义里面的第一义了。就是初 初学出家行。那第二义要正修菩提心，所以我们可以看到第19页。那在此有说到了是修像世俗菩提心、胜义菩提心等，这是属于第二义正修菩提心的部分。
So the actual instruction practice training the spirit of awakening has two parts: how to train the ultimate spirit awakening and how to train the conventional spirit of awakening. According to most of the older records, the training in the ultimate awakening mind is dealt with first. However, according to our own, the Gelug tradition, following the gentle protector, Manjunath, Tsongkhapa, as contained in such works as the mind training, like Rays of the Sun, Ornament of Lobsang's thoughts, Tsongkhapa's thought, Essence of Nectar, and Gyutsang's root verses, the order is reversed for special reasons. So as it comes in the following. So with regard to what is meant by ultimate spirit of awakening, so having established the profound emptiness and having realized this, the profound emptiness, and having realized it and further developing it, you realize emptiness directly. Thereby whereby you are totally absorbed in emptiness without any dualistic appearance. And so that kind of understanding or the insight, the true insight into emptiness, which is also imbued with the Bodhichitta, that is called the ultimate spirit of an awakening. 但是现证空性的时候，就不会有这个所能二元的现象存在，所以远离二相，远离所能二元，所以这时候叫做现证空性的状态。这时候有菩提心所摄持的这一个远离所能二元的现证空性的智慧，这个叫胜义菩提心。And then the conventional bodhicitta means all these mother sentient beings, in order to liberate them from suffering, you see the need for yourself to attain the Buddhahood, and therefore, for the benefit of all these sentient beings, you make this determination, you develop this determination to reach that goal of enlightenment. And that determination that you have to reach Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings is called conventional bodhicitta. So in order to train your mind in such a bodhicitta to reach the ultimate, unsurpassed enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, so there are two, as I've explained before, there are two methods to develop bodhicitta. So here, this text brings, deals with the exchanging and equaling and exchanging self with others. So training in the conventional spirit of awakening, drive all blames on one culprit. So whatever misfortunes you come across or experience, you should blame all of them to your past negative karmas and be highly grateful to everyone. So thinking or reflecting that sentient beings have been kind to you, an alternate practice giving and taking. So you give all your positive experiences and positivities to sentient beings and take on the suffering and all the negativities of sentient beings. So these two should be alternately practiced. And of the two, as for the sequence, begin by taking from yourself So begin by taking from yourself. So this is a better way to practice giving and taking. So begin. So mount them both upon your breath. 3 objects, 3 poisons, and 3 roots of virtues. The attachment, anger, hatred, and ignorance. The instruction of post-meditation session, in short, is to remind yourself of the practice in everything you do with words. So you train yourself by overcome the 3 poisons and so forth by using phrases. So you practice equally exchanging self and with others. So having developed your Bodhichitta, either through the 7-fold instruction, cause and effect instruction, or the equally exchanging self and others, the instruction of the post-meditation session is, in short, to remind yourself to practice in everything you do with phrase. And then training in the ultimate spirit of awakening. Once stability is achieved, reveal the secret. So having developed Bodhichitta, conventional Bodhichitta, then you should, with regards to the lack of any objective independent existence, you should reveal that secret. So regard all phenomena as if they were dreams. So though you may see faces of other people, horses and cows and oxen and so forth, they do not exist. They're just dream objects. So likewise, everything has no independent objective existence from their side. So there's not an iota of independent existence in things. So regard all phenomena as if they were dreams. Examine the unborn nature of awareness. So use your analytical minds to examine the unborn nature of awareness, so that understanding that the things are merely, the awareness itself also merely designated. Even the remedy itself is free right where it is. Let the nature of path rest in the universal ground. So here, the universal ground or the mind basis of all means, alaya vijnana, means that though things do not have any inherent existence, the functionality of things is still feasible. So while the functionality of things are acceptable, feasible, they do not have any independent objective existence, and that is what is meant by that, leaving it in the nature of the path in the universal ground. In between sessions, act as an illusory being. So here, when you come out of your meditation session and you're in the post-meditation session, you should meditate on the illusory nature of things. So we covered in the Song of Experience earlier, the illusory, the space-like so the space-like emptiness and the illusion-like emptiness. So you should use the understanding of emptiness in your post-meditation session, seeing everything is like like space, like illusion, like emptiness. Though things appear to you as if they have some independent existence, they do not exist that way. And so they exist conventionally. While existing conventionally, they lack any independent existence in and of themselves. So there is illusion like emptiness. And you see things like illusion in the post-meditation session. While going back into your meditation session again, you should focus your mind on the space like emptiness.
那取舍兼杂修，透过这一个自他相换，透过这一个爱我执的过患认知，爱他心功德的思维，所以现在我要决定，我要取一切众生的痛苦为己有，那我要舍自己的善业给众生，所以修取者，所以取舍兼杂修，修取也修舍，这样兼杂替换的修。那这个次第呢，先从取做起，所以取的这个次第呢，先从自身做起，先从自身取众生的这一个痛苦，所以取的次第先从自身做起。那这个取舍呢，是比恶乘风修，就是在呼吸的时候，顺着吐气、吸气的方式来去修取舍的。净读各三总结总摄结行觉，威仪净松持。那这个无论是三净二净等，读在指的烦恼，或者是对治烦恼的这个善心等，这一切的总义、口诀，还有相关的威仪等，我们要多多的去诵持相关的这一个经论文，而去念其义。那这以上是属于世俗菩提心的部分的，接下来是圣意菩提心的部分，我们可以翻27页，这是属于圣意菩提心的部分。兼顾后世密，世俗菩提心稳定之后，再来去修学圣意菩提心，才会去获证圣意菩提心。那圣意菩提心是什么呢？思诸法如梦，看到诸法如同幻化一样，所以如梦。观心性无生，仔细的去观察心的一个究竟体性的时候呢，它并非是以自己的力量让自己生成、让自己形成的，所以观心性无生。心即便是心性，也是依靠他力而形成而产生，它并非是以自己的力量而让自己的体性所形成，所以无自性生无生。对治意自解，当你了解了、看透了诸法存在的这一个究竟真相的时候，一切的问题就能够自然迎刃而解。道体住于赖耶态，那一切的这些的功德都是住在于这边所谓的赖耶呢，藏文直接翻译过来是一切诸法的基础的意思了，万法之基础。那万法之基础是无自性的状态当中而来去形成这一切的。那坐间为幻事，就是初定之后叫坐间嘛，就是每一座的中间的隔离啦，叫坐间。前座与后座这个中间叫坐间，就是初定的时候，坐间为幻事。你在正行的时候就专注空性，可是你初定了，并非正行坐间的时候呢，你要观一切的万法，并非像我们所看到的如此的真实，所以幻间作幻事。
呀，大概不是来说。
那句 debate 课为才。
那才送去吧，清白。
第三章
呀，马杰里边写来讲，你不你讲，咱就我个性啊来讲，听咱几位就上在讲。但是把讲啊讲就咱们就把呢。
So next comes the transforming adversity into the spirit of awakening. When the dwelling and dwellers are rife with non-virtues, when the whole world is enslaved by vices, transform the adverse conditions into the path to awakening. So when you are overwhelmed by all kinds of unwanted experiences, you should transform them into the condition for the path to an awakening, the unsurpassed, unexalted enlightenment of Buddhahood. Whatever you encounter, immediately apply to meditation the best strategy is to have the 4 practices.
那接下来是第3义为缘转到右
So
的部
just
分
as in the Lama Tsongkhapa, the Guru Puja,
恶缘转
it's
折道，也就是
says that whatever you experience,
我们遇到逆缘的时候，要让逆缘
may I be able to transform the path to liberation and make this human life a
22页
a meaningful one,
所以
a
要怎么
greatly
修呢
meaningful
欲
one.
远结合修，四行甚方便。如同上次会供里面有说到，将这个四行的甚方便结合于遇到所有逆缘的时候，那愿上师汝等加持于我，能够让我做到这一点。
我呀，当然他们做其他他去说，这几个年龄真的点吧呢，每个业务。
It's presenting the integrated practice for a lifetime. To synthesize the essence of a practical guidance, apply yourself to the 5 powers. The great vehicle instruction on transferring consciousness is these very 5 powers, or precisely the 5 powers. And so, Gaden Tri Rinpoche says he is not able to recall the 5 powers. So there are the 5 causal and resultant 5 powers. So Lama Chöpa says that whatever good and bad things appear to me,
那接下来呢是属于第4义的部分呢。
so may I be able to use the 5 powers,
应修5种力
the essence of the
武力重威仪
teaching.
就是说，就是能够继续
By using this instruction on the 5 powers,
修持呢，叫做武力了。那武力呢，为哪武力呢？心不随我执、贪嗔等转者为牵引力。
may I be able to be proficient in the 2 types of bodhicittas.
积极资粮者为白法种子力，思爱我执过患而断除者为破坏力，愿诸善根为发心不坏及增长之因者为发愿力。
我呀，俺有东岸大的，提前普语当俺人，俺有东岸人，俺的大家。
So the great vehicle instruction on transferring consciousness, projecting the consciousness out of body, is precisely the 5 aggregates. These 5 aggregates. So your conduct is crucial. So you should, as Lama Chöpa says, the Guru Puja says, by applying the instructions on the 5 powers, you should practice the ethical disciplines just as they are explained in the text.
并能做平稳善巧最堕施遮举武力真正真配合口教授往生清净刹土求加持，所指的就是这个武力，牵引力、串习力、白法种子力、破坏力以及发愿力。
我呀。 当天他落终于俺的菜我告诉呢，菜单把没有什么，秋个光把酒都对是，今天的就俺的告诉了，就是清。
So the whole Dharma is synthesized in one. So all the teachings that Buddha has given is all of them are none other than methods or means for sentient beings to lead them to sentient beings to the ultimate Buddhahood, the unsurpassable enlightenment. So attend to the chief of the 2 witnesses. Always maintain only a joyful attitude. The measure of proficiency is in turning away. So turning away or overcoming the sense of self-cherishing attitude and leading the mind or towards cherishing other sentient beings over oneself.
诸法归一义，也就是佛所说的诸法呢，它最终都是归于一个目的，就是为了利一切有情众生能够获得解脱而说的。诸法归一义，二正取其主。我们在修持的时候要以二正，就是以三宝像佛一样作为正人，以及自己心，因为自心骗不了自己嘛，自己骗不了自心了，所以以其为主要的佐证而来修持，为常怀喜悦，而且学佛是要有欢喜心的以欢喜心来学佛，所以就是以常怀喜悦的方式而去学佛。纯熟量为导，我们心要成熟到什么样的程度呢？要让我们随时随刻的都知道说，爱我执这是颠倒的，自信执着这是颠倒的，要做到这样一个程度。熟相具五大。
你这天了，这天送了大多老怪。
A sign of proficiency to have 5 greatness of proficiency is when you do it even when distracted. So the pledges of mind training, constantly train the 3 general principles, change your attitude, which is to say, transform your mind to so that you only think of serving other sentient beings, the welfare of other sentient beings, but remain natural. Don't speak of injured limbs. And do not think of the faults of others. So you should train your mind to benefit others. And do not stand in the judgment of others. Whatever mental afflictions is strongest, purify that first. Give up all expectations of reward.
善意能及熟。常学，接下来是修心三昧耶的第6义。常学3种义，严厉强取舍，因摧诸因由，常修诸别列。不待观语言，欲改身如故。勿说缺之节，全部四他方。
So whatever mental afflictions is strongest in you, purify that first. So applying your body, speech and mind to virtuous practices, have no expectation for reward as a practice of these virtues. Avoid poisonous food. Do not maintain misplaced loyalty. And do not engage in bitter quarreling or using harsh words against others. And do not wait in ambush. Do not strike at the vulnerable point of others, and do not load the burden of a zo on an ox. Or do not transfer the ox's burden on the cow, so to say.
期望或者是世间的果报有所期待，所以断一切希果。第24句。那接下来还有不应该做的行为，如舍餐独食，勿坏酒肠，勿发恶言，不起小怒，莫刺要害，以及离陀勿挪于牛，勿争称端，天末成佛，不寻他苦为乐之。
안에 조지 때 믿어 봐서랑 진정게 삼발라 안에 로테지 좀 믿어 봐다.
And do not abuse practices. Don't sprint to win the race. So to reach the Buddhahood, the perfect, unexalted enlightenment, you should practice both the method of skillful means and wisdom. So without doing that, so it says, if you do practice of non-virtues, then you are reducing gods to the status of demon. So don't reduce
不起小
gods to demons,
不应做的这些
or do not bring God down to the level of a demon.
等于他罗中给大的了，这件了都没去吧？他对嘛罗中给老在点吧呢？
So don't seek others' misery as a means of happiness. Next is precepts of the mind training. Synthesize all meditative practices into one. All practices, you should combine or bring them down to one practice of the mind training. And counter all adversity with a single remedy. There are two tasks at the beginning and at the end. So the task at the beginning is developing Bodhichitta, and at the end, the task at the end is dedicating the virtues that you have gained through that. Bear whichever of the two occurs. Protect the two even at the cost of your life. Train yourself in the three difficult things.
那接下来是讲
Acquire the three principal courses, or
一贯
practice the three principal
所有的
courses.
这个修持，都要以一个成就无上菩提的目的为主而去做修持，一贯重于切。那一除诸障难，那就是以就是修除爱我执和自性执着为主要的这一个修持法而来去修行。初后修二事，也就是一开始的发心跟最后的回向这很重要。所以初后修二事，学习易修持，二境皆安忍。那我们在此的学习易修持，就是说所有的学处，像是在家、出家或者是别解脱界等菩萨界的学处，都要如实的去修持奉行，二境皆安忍。
Cultivate the three that must not decline. So the practices relating to your body, speech, and mind. Keep the three from which you must not separate. Train yourself impartially towards all objects, which means you are not swayed by the negative emotions, attachment, anger, and ignorance. Cherish a practice that is inclusive and profound to all. Meditate constantly on the distinctive ones. Don't rely on other conditions. So you should feel determined to do your practice yourself and not think of being contingent upon other conditions. So in this life, practice what is important.
要去护最主要的这些根本戒。那当学三种难，也就是初学者的这个烦恼产生的时候，对治是困难的。那中要去退世的时候，也是困难的，以及后要对除烦恼的相续，有三难，当学三种难。
那两类人做的没做吧？那人在脱节都讲过话。
So don't misunderstand, don't be sporadic, practice with total conviction, free yourself through investigation and analysis, so you should analyze and investigate things which are to mean that you use the faculty of investigation and analysis. Do not be bound by annoyance or be irritable.
我说的老中吃见没早考啊差不多了，地包都让人老吃什么的。但他看那个做的，老中吃见没？那老中团队每个吃早啊去了吧？但那你点那来呀？你不说当对了，松山就讲对对了。
啊，
是啦，
哇，
你是脏啊，其中一丢那边。
对呢，那就他们在这个家，老年他们在这个家，通大年来乔万年，也算呀。
我滴到滴送，你们说让我拉不差，你我看就是我差，滴滴送。谈到你
我少打滴滴送，
我滴。
So at the cost of your life, protect the two, even at the cost of your life. So you need to observe the general and the specific precepts or commitments. Train yourself in the three difficulties. Acquire the three principal causes. To cultivate the three that must not be declined, and keep the three from which you must not separate.
学习易修持，二经皆安忍。接下来是舍命护大戒。当学三种难，也就是佛法的总三昧耶跟修心18三昧耶这2大戒，要舍命的去守护。那当学三种难，在此就说勤学初念烦恼对治难，中退烦恼生起难，后断烦恼相续难之3难事。
哦呀，恰到定中归来解释，罗中给他们这些，安尼当年旁边说了把恰话当，台大了把定中话把罗中。
So cherish the practice that is inclusive and profound to all. So to everyone, whether they are your near and dear ones, neutral or adversaries, they are all included in your practice of the mind training.
并且深入专注的去修学爱他之心。
哦呀，就现在了他。
Meditate constantly on distinctive ones. Don't rely on other conditions. Now practice what is important. So having attained this precious human life, you should practice. Don't misunderstand. And don't be sporadic. So doing the practice at some times and not doing at other times, that should not be done. But practice with total conviction. Free yourself through the investigation and analysis. Do not be bound by an annoyance or irritable. Don't be irritable. Don't make a short-lived attempt.
应取修三不退向，应具三不离，道则修对治，今当修主要，未来常披甲，以及悟道行不间歇，决断修，寻思令解脱，不花功勿暇意，勿须臾，不求报。
哦呀，让给没完没。
Don't yearn to be thanked. As a result of my immense faith that I had, I disregarded all suffering and defamations. And I sought the instruction to overcome or to subdue my own self-cherishing attitude and the ignorance, the fundamental ignorance grasping at the true self-existence. So now, even if I die, I have no regret. So with this, we have completed the 7-point instruction on the mind training. In the 8 verses of mind training, it says, May I consider all sentient beings greater than a wish-fulfilling gem. So with the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times, whenever I associate with someone. May I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior.
随处与谁为伴时，事己教主众人悲。从心深处思利他，恒常尊他为最上。无论跟谁在一起，要以谦虚的态度，视他人永远比我重要。一定要把生命的这个焦点摆在他人的身上，从心深处思利他，随时随地要打从心里面的善待于他，恒常尊他为最上，永远都把重点、生活的重心视他为最上。
In all my deeds may I prove into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. So whatever you are doing, whether you are asleep, lying down, walking around, sitting somewhere and so forth, you should always probe into your mind. And as soon as when these destructive emotions of attachment, anger, and so forth are about to arise, you should see the disadvantage of these and try to, because they endanger oneself and others. They bring ruin to oneself and others. You should strongly confront them and avert them.
即将恼害自他时，愿即呵斥令消除。随时随地观察自心有没有相应于烦恼。正当烦恼初萌生，烦恼快要发起的时候，正当烦恼初萌生，那时候要马上以正念正知提醒自己，这一个即将要升起的烦恼将会伤害自己，也会伤害他人。即将恼害自他时，愿即呵斥令消除，要马上的立即制止，不让烦恼升起。
When I see beings unpleasant in character, oppressed by strong, when someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hope mistreat me in extremely hurtful ways, so someone to whom you have helped before, but in return they try to harm you, hurt you, and mistreat you. So for doing this, for the good that you have done towards them, they reciprocate by doing all kinds of bad things to you. You should not retaliate. You should understand instead that all these negativities that you are encountering or undergoing is due to your negative actions that you have done in the past, and therefore you should see the other person who is trying to do all kinds of hurtful things to you as your spiritual teacher. So may I regard him still as my precious teacher.
所以无习饶益助某人，且曾身心寄厚望，对他有很大的期待。彼虽非礼妄加害，他虽然是以非礼的方式而妄加害于我，可是这时候应该想说，这是我过去的恶业所累积的苦果，这是第一点。第二点，从他的身上我看到了爱我执的这个过患，所以他等于是一个活生生的教材，教导我爱我执所带来的这个过失啊。因此，愿视彼为善之事，所以这一点蛮重要的。无习劳役助某人，且曾身心寄厚望，彼虽非礼妄加害，愿视彼为善之事。
In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quite secretly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. So directly or indirectly, you should always think of bringing all benefits to your mother sentient beings and pray that, so you should give everything good that you have done to them and take upon all the hurts and pains of these mother sentient beings onto yourself.
愿我所得的一切的安乐和福
So
报，
may I
都能够
secretly take
回向
upon myself.
无私的回
So
向给一
this
切
is
如母
showing
一
the
切有
practice
情
of taking
如
and
母一切有
giving.
情的诸苦患，如母有情诸苦患，我愿暗自取受，愿我能够取受一切众生的如母遍虚空有情的所有的苦患。
대다 권장 최제지 또배
May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusion, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage.
나 어떤 집에 대다 권장 가서 선배다 대다 권장 대다 어디 대다 대탐 대다 안에 또배 따왔다라는 게
So view everything as being merely designated, imputed, and see the illusion-like nature of things, and being devoid of clinging to any independent, inherent existence in things and beings, be released from the bondage.
愿我所做的一切不要相应世间八法，已知诸法如幻智，以了解真相的这一个智慧，空真间无执离缚，远离空性的这个束缚而解脱。
这个就嘛大家呢，现在青蛙上着说，你落着直接嘛是个的，你这嘛不。
So this is the 8 verses of training the mind. If you could memorize these 8 verses of mind training, for mind training, and also reflect on the meaning. So even if you are not able to memorize long and many texts, but if you could memorize these 8 verses for training the mind, it would be, and apply the teaching within yourself, it would be good and beneficial.
学习广大的一些经论的话，那至少修心八中把它背下来，你可以逐字的念诵的同时，逐字的去思维它所表达的意涵。那边思维边念诵，那如此的发心训练菩提心，这很好。
我呀，安尼达，你这个这些，安尼参嘛给伢们也不切。
So with this, I conclude this teaching, and I wish to urge everyone to practice the teaching. For that, you always need to study the teaching, and as His Holiness Dalai Lama always advises us. So the great classic texts must be studied and then apply and integrate them into your practice. So, if you could memorize the 8 verses of mind training and do study and practice it, it would be really beneficial for everyone.
第14达赖喇嘛尊者一直在提倡和呼吁大众，和呼吁所有的法友们。 因为你只有透过广大的学习，你才可以获得更多的知识和资讯，你才知道如何实践。那了解了这些资讯，有了这些知识之后，接下来要做的呢，就是将其教义落实于生活当中了，就是所谓的实践修行了。那这个很重要，像是我刚刚所建议的，你们背诵修心八颂，那逐字念诵的同时去思维其内容，这个就是将其教义落实于生活当中的意思，就是所谓的修行了。那务必要做到这一点。
我呀，安尼听大家听，安尼节目俺做讲话这个都讲了，路上去怎么？
So for now, so next time when we meet, please try to make sure that you have memorized the 8 verses of training the mind, so that when I take exam, when I test you, you could recite it from your heart. Prayer for the long life of His Holiness. To the assembly of most kind teachers, both present and past, the miraculous dance of the body, speech, and mind of innumerable Buddhas.
妙香片图花散之大地，须弥四周日月所庄严， 尽如佛土我乐尽供养，愿诸有情共享此
Mandala offering.
伊当咕噜那那米切拉嘎尼亚达亚。
哦呀，当然我的带老呀介绍，哦。咱们古写作就是，比如说写作在这么的这些啥，咱们这么的这么什么么叫，什么叫新论什么，新的样子什么，现在什么你什么叫，咱们这。
Gaden Tri Rinpoche is just reading from the beginning of the Song of Experience by Master Tsongkhapa.
哦，刚刚就是因为已经传完整个口传和教授的传承了嘛，所以按照传统来讲的话，会再念前面一小段，这个部分忘记补上了，所以现在补上。
道众请起立。谢谢